Sometimes it appears that an autistic person or neurodivergent or person with ADHD, but also anybody, but I'm just in particular these people, are not reacting to something. So it's not hurtful or harmful, or on the opposite hand, they don't seem happy when you think they should be happy. Well, here's a couple of reasons why it can be totally wrong. One is that they could be processing stuff at a slow pace, and this happens to me too. This doesn't mean they're less intelligent, or that they're mulling over all the implications, trying to figure out how everything pieces together and stuff instead of just taking it, oh yes, they're insulting me. They're like, are they insulting me? Blah, 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 blah. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are, blah, blah, blah. Or that they're looking at an event and they have to really think about an event. Like, oh, you invite them to a party. It's like, do I really want to go? Well, my friend will be there, this and that, instead of just saying, hey, I like parties. Another big one is that their focus might be elsewhere. And by this, I mean, for a lot of people like me, when we're focusing on something else, we don't feel emotions for those things because our mind is just consumed by one idea. And that idea, because it's so consumed, we can't feel it. So you might invite us to a wonderful event, but we're like, oh, yeah, okay. That's because we're not thinking about the event and it's in the future. Or we might have an event that you think should cause us great panic, but it's not, because we're not thinking about it at the moment. But as soon as we start thinking about it, then it's when we start panicking. And these two, the first and second one, can really make us look to outsiders like unstable, but it can also make us look like we don't care about stuff, or that we just panic over in the weirdest times. And it's not, it's just that what's on our mind more, and us expressing it. Another big deal is that we oftentimes express stuff differently. We might lack eye contact. We might not make the same bubbly faces. We might have a different tonal expression, or we might move or stim or do stuff differently. It all can mean that we're happy or sad or upset. We're just expressing it. Oftentimes we're a lot more blunt, and people think that bluntness is rudeness or anger, but it isn't. Or they don't understand people bluntly saying, I don't like this. And they think there's some other intention or something. Or playing around when we say we're happy, when we really are happy, we're not joking around. Another huge thing that could be going on is that what could be going on is that we're either masking or have fear to show our true emotions. And masking is when we hide who we are, our emotions and stuff. And this is specifically for the neurodivergent community, to fit in so that we don't get attacked or prejudiced or other horrible things happen to us, or we're trained to do it from a young age and we can't stop it. It is not good. It is bad for our health, but it's something that society forces us and trains us to do. Fear could also be a reason why. And you might be like, oh, they should not fear me. Well, first of all, if they have to fear people 99% of the time and you're the 1% exception, then they might be carrying over from 99% of the time. They might have been trained from a young age to fear people for every good reason. And you cannot judge other people's fear if it's logical or not, because you have not experienced their life. Even if you're neurodivergent, you might not have the same disabilities, growing up in the same household with the same safety. So don't just say a person should not fear you. Even if you're the kindest person on earth. And also, if you think you're the kindest person on earth, you probably would be more accepting of this anyways. Okay. Another one is that they're still learning. And by that I mean they could not realize what they said was really hurtful, or they're still putting stuff together. And years later they get upset or angry with you because they learned about that. That happened with me in my childhood, in that some of the abuse I've suffered, I didn't realize it wasn't commonplace for other kids to suffer it, such as soap in the mouth. So I got more upset later on when I learned about it. Some of the teasing words I called, I only learned later on what the words meant. So maybe they don't realize what you said or did was hurtful, but they will realize it eventually. You could also have Some people also have difficulty recognizing emotions, including their own emotions, and that can lead it. There's a whole word for it. I want to say dysthymia, or maybe alexithymia, but I feel like that also might be wrong. Another one that is very common in all these communities is all of us have a different sense of time. And by this different sense of time, stuff might seem way in the future or very close, and our sense of time is off, or we might not be able to think about the future that much, or everything, just our whole sense of time and memory of the future and past is altered, which can lead us to not looking overly emotional or unemotional at times because of just the urgency in our minds. A last thing on the list, and I think I'll add one more verbally, is sometimes stuff suddenly happens that compounds it. So you said something that's mildly hurtful, then I come back home and it's bothering me a little bit, but then something else happens at home that really upsets me, and that, get what you said, makes impact so much more. It's just that it's the needle that broke the haystack, but the haystack came later on, kind of thing. Or whatever happened is like something that only bothers me when all these other things start coming together, because then it becomes overwhelming and I'm holding it inside. The last thing that I want to add that I didn't put on this list is that some of these things, what happens is that you don't realize a person is feeling all these bad things because you legit look down upon them when the signs are obvious. And then it comes up and explodes. And I've told people over and over again that I'm happy or that I'm sad or that I'm angry at you. And people didn't realize it. And then suddenly it's like you explode out of nowhere. And no, I didn't. I kept telling you. But you looked down upon me so much that you did not see it. Well, thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in a year and 4,000 watch hours, which is so I can better promote my channel. Also, if you have any ideas for future videos, comments, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. And also, if you know my DM, feel free to DM me. I just don't want to widely give out my DM. Thank you very much. Goodbye.